Hi Geometry, we're going to be working on Unit 4, Lesson 10, finding the perimeter and area of a polygon. We're going to be using the area equation, area equals 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So in number 1, we have a side edge that's 8.4, and this is a pentagon. And so this pentagon has 5 sides. So the perimeter of the first one would be all 5 sides times my 8.4. And so my perimeter of this figure would be 42, and what's my units? Inches? 42 inches. So next, I need to find my apothem in order to calculate my area. My apothem goes from the center of my pentagon to the midpoint of one of the sides, and it's perpendicular at that point. So if you could think, let me get a different color here, of splitting my pentagon up into 5 triangles, then my apothem would be the altitude or the height of one of those triangles. So when I draw that apothem, I've created a right triangle, and I need to find this angle at the top of my right triangle. So I start by taking the 360 degrees that's around the center of my pentagon and divide by 5, and I get 72. So each one of these triangles has a 72-degree angle around the center. But I only want half that for my right triangle. So I'm going to take 72, divide by 2, and get 36 degrees. So this angle right here is 36 degrees. So what I'm looking to find is my apothem. I happen to know that the side, half the side, would be half of 8.4 or 4.2. So I have a right triangle where my opposite side, let me get a different color. My opposite side is 4.2. My adjacent side is my apothem, my variable. My hypotenuse is this distance from the center to the vertice of my pentagon, but I don't know that distance, nor do I need that distance. So I'm going to write a trig equation with opposite and adjacent, and thinking about my SOHCAHTOA, I know that that's going to be tangent. So I'm going to write that tangent of my 36-degree angle is equal to 4.2 over my apothem, my variable a. In this case, my a is in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply both sides by my variable a, my apothem, and it's going to get up and out of the denominator. I'm also going to divide both sides by tangent 36. That is going to get my variable a by itself. And so a is equal to 4.2 divided by tangent 36. I'm going to pull out my calculator and put those in, and I should get something around 5.78. So now I know my perimeter, I know my apothem, I am ready to find my area. So the area equals 1/2 my apothem, 5.78, times my perimeter of 42. That's giving me an area of 121.39 inches squared. Let's take a look at number 2. It's a very similar problem in that I'm given a side length. So I can find my perimeter very quickly. My perimeter is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is an octagon. It has 8 sides. So 8 times 4 gives me a perimeter of 32 yards for this octagon, 8-sided figure. So this is my center. In order for me to find the area, I also need my apothem. So if you can imagine me dropping down my perpendicular segment from the center to a side, to the midpoint of a side, this is my apothem, and I'd like to try to find this. So you can imagine my octagon being split into 8 thin triangles. Not so easy on my iPad with my Apple Pencil. So inside this, I have a very small right triangle being made with my apothem. I do know that this little edge right here is 2 because it's half of a side. And I can figure out my angle. I'm going to take the 360 degrees all the way around the center of my octagon. I'm going to divide it by the 8 sides in an octagon, or the 8 triangles in my octagon, and I'm going to get 45. And 45 divided by 2 gives me 22.5. So this angle right here is 22.5 degrees. And let me grab a different color. In my right triangle, the 2 is my opposite side. The apothem is my adjacent side. So it looks like I'm going to be writing a tangent equation. Tangent of my 22.5 equals my opposite over my adjacent, which is my apothem. I'm not going to multiply both sides by a. I'm going to divide both sides by tan 22.5. So I'm going to get apothem equals 2 divided by tangent of 22.5. I'm going to plug that into my calculator, and I'm going to get an apothem of approximately 4.83. So now I have my perimeter, I have my apothem. I can calculate the area of this octagon. The area equals 1/2, 4.83 my apothem, times my perimeter of 32. When I multiply those together, I get 77.28 yards squared. So let's take a look at the next 2 problems. These are different. These problems are not giving me a side length. They are giving me my apothem. And please note on number 4, I actually tried to white that number out. You're not supposed to notice anything there and to do that problem. So in both these problems, we're given the apothem. So I don't know the perimeter. I'm going to have to figure out my perimeter. I'm going to need to figure out my side length. So in number 3, this is a hexagon. Let's draw in our 6 triangles. And I'm going to go ahead and use the top triangle for my work since it's already got the apothem written on it. So I need to figure out this little side right here. And I also need to figure out this angle that's inside my right triangle so that I can do my trig with it. So this is a hexagon, so there's 360 degrees around the center, divided by my 6 sides, or my 6 triangles, and that gives me a 60-degree angle, 6 of those all the way around my center. But I'm only using half of that angle, so 60 divided in half would of course be 30. So this angle right here is 30 degrees. So I have my side, let me grab a different color here. I have my side opposite, which is x, opposite the 30. Adjacent to the 30 is my apothem, the 7.79. So it looks like I'm going to be writing a tangent equation. Tangent of 30 equals my opposite over adjacent, 7.79. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by 7.79 times 7.79, and then x equals 4.497. Now be really, really careful. This is only half a side. This distance is x. It's only half a side. So an entire side of my hexagon is actually 2 times 4.497. So the entire side would be like 8.994. I think you could totally round to 9 right now. I will say your final answer will be some different decimal than what I have, but I think 8.994 could be 9 if you wanted to make it that. So next I'm ready to calculate my perimeter. My perimeter is 6 sides times the fact that each side is 8.994, and I get a total perimeter of 53.964. So now my area is 1/2 my apothem, which is given to me, times 53.964. And then when I calculate my area and I put all those in, I get 210.2 feet squared. Please note that you could probably get anything from 209 and some decimals to 211 and some decimals. It probably depends on how you're rounding, where you round, what you round to. So those are very common things to happen in these problems. Let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 is a pentagon again. It's a 5-sided figure. So if I think about trying to find this little angle right here, then I would do my 360 degrees divided by my 5 sides or my 5 triangles and get 72. But now I want only half of that angle, so it's going to be 36 degrees. It's kind of hard. I guess I'll work on this side of the triangle. That's a 36-degree angle. And what I'm trying to find is my side opposite, because I need to find my perimeter in order to calculate the area of this polygon. So I'll grab a different color here. This is my opposite side. My adjacent side is my 9.91 yards. And so this is going to be a tangent equation. Tangent of 36 is x over 9.91. I'm going to multiply 9.91 times both sides, and then I'm going to get that x is equal to 7.2. Now remember, I just found only half of my side of my pentagon, so I need to remember to double it. So this entire side is 7.2 times 2. That's a really common, easy to make mistake. So do be very careful with that. The entire side of my pentagon is 14.4. It's my 7.2 plus my 7.2. So my perimeter is my 5-sided figure times 14.4. So my perimeter is 72 yards. And then my area is 1/2 my apothem, 9.91, times my perimeter of 72. And I get an area of 356.76 yards squared. So number 5 and 6, let's move down to those. Number 5, we're back to a problem where I'm given a side length. So on number 5, I know the side. What I don't know is my apothem. So in this problem, I know my perimeter. What shape is this? This is a pentagon. So my perimeter is going to be 5 times 7.9. And when I multiply those, I get 39.5 yards for my perimeter. And I'm now ready to find my apothem. So I'm going to do my same 360 divided by 5. Probably by now you know it's 36. But every time, this is how I figure out the little half of my angle. I take my 360 divided by my number of sides, and then I divide that angle in half. And so now my apothem would be my side adjacent. My opposite side I can figure out. My opposite side is going to be 7.9 divided by 2. And I think when you do 7.9 divided by 2, you find that it's 3.95. So now this is a tangent problem. Tangent of 36 is opposite 3.95 divided by my apothem. Let's multiply my variable over, divide the tangent 36 over, and I get 3.95 divided by tangent 36. That gives me an apothem that's equal to approximately 5.44. So now I'm ready to calculate the area of this pentagon. It's 1/2 the apothem, 5.44, times the perimeter, 39.5, and I get that my area is 107.44 yards squared. So Number 6 is actually a heptagon. So if I start here, I have 7 sides. So this is a heptagon. It's a 7-sided figure. So when I go to do my triangle right here, and I want to calculate my angle, I'll start with my 360 divided by 7. That gives me a 51.4-degree angle for all 7 of my triangles around the center. So my angle is 51.4. But my little angle inside my right triangle, that 6 is in a very awkward spot. So we're just going to try to ignore it as best we can. But this is a right triangle. And so my 51.4 divided by 2, it's going to give me 25.7. So this little tiny angle right here is 25.7. I'm trying to find my opposite side. So I'm trying to find this opposite side. We'll call it X. And I know that the 5.19 is my adjacent side. So I know I'm going to be writing a tangent equation. Tangent of this 25.7 equals opposite over adjacent, which is 5.19. That's my apothem. And so now I'm going to multiply both sides by 5.19. I think when you do that, you should get 2.5 for x. So remember that the entire side then would be 2.5 times 2, or 5 units. I guess this is feet. So my entire side is 5. And so now I can calculate my perimeter. My perimeter of my 7-sided figure is 7 times 5, or 35. So my area formula becomes 1/2 times my perimeter of 35 times my apothem of 5.19. And when I multiply all those, I get 90.83 feet squared. Thank you.